Introduction. Throughout history, we have seen the rise and downfall of many dictators around the world. Many of them were short-lived and long forgotten, while other ones will be remembered for years to come and have left large marks on the fate of the world. Some are more famous than others. You, the viewer, probably know of some of these tyrants. However, in this video we will look at what makes a dictator and what similarities and commonalities are in the methods they have used to rise to power and, more importantly, keep that power. We will go over the life and background of some of them, discuss their effect on history, and what are some commonalities in the things they did that ultimately led to their successes and downfalls. Hitler. Let us start with perhaps the most famous tyrant of history, Adolf Hitler, who also could arguably be the most evil tyrant of history. At least some would say so. It begs the question, how did Hitler gain his support? Well, for that we need to look at the backstory, although not in a lot of detail as there are more information out there specifically on Hitler online. You see, the German Empire came out the losers of the First World War, and Hitler fought in it as a soldier. The German people felt as if Germany was being taken advantage of by the winners of the war, e.g. UK and France, and that's where Hitler came in and started giving persuading speeches in local places of gather. He managed to successfully enter the emotion of the German people and providing a new solution, that being his newfound ideology, Nazism. What are some of the things Hitler is remembered for now? Hating and villainizing a specific people group, the Jews, having a great sense of ultranationalism and wanting to unite a people group, keeping a close and strong army that was specifically loyal to him, e.g. the SS, being a good persuader and uniters, and keeping a close circle of generals and partners he trusted, such as Heinrich Himmler, head of SS and Gestapo, and Martin Bormann, head of the Nazi Party Chancellery. However, what is more interesting to see here is that all those previous points can be seen in other dictators from much different times, like Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
1. Hating and villainizing specific people groups, the Jews, Persians, and Kurds. Saddam Hussein not only harbored animosity towards Jewish people, but also towards Persians and Kurds. He viewed Persians, particularly those in Iran, as historical rivals and enemies. This enmity culminated in the Iran-Iraq War, 1980 to 1988, where Saddam Hussein attempted to assert Iraqi dominance over Iran, leading to years of devastating conflict. Additionally, Saddam Hussein's regime brutally repressed the Kurdish population in Iraq, especially during the Al-Anfal campaign in the late 1980s, which included the use of chemical weapons against Kurdish civilians. His persecution of Kurds aimed to suppress their aspirations for autonomy and maintain central control over Iraq's Kurdish regions. 2. Staying popular with the Arab Sunni population and persecuting Arab Shias and Kurds. Saddam Hussein, an Arab Sunni himself, maintained support among the Arab Sunni population of Iraq by promoting Sunni dominance in key government positions and providing economic and social benefits to Sunni communities. Meanwhile, he discriminated against Arab Shias, who constituted a significant portion of Iraq's population, through policies of marginalization, repression, and political disenfranchisement. Additionally, Saddam's regime targeted Shia religious leaders and organizations, leading to widespread persecution and human rights abuses. Similarly, Saddam Hussein's regime oppressed the Kurdish population in northern Iraq, viewing them as a threat to his centralized authority. The regime's brutal tactics, including the use of chemical weapons, aimed to suppress Kurdish aspirations for autonomy and maintain control over the Kurdish regions. 3. Hating and villainizing a specific people group, the Jews. Saddam Hussein was known for his anti-Semitic rhetoric and policies, often using propaganda to scapegoat and demonize Jewish people, particularly during the Gulf War and his rule in Iraq. 4. Having a great sense of ultranationalism and wanting to unite a people group. Saddam Hussein propagated a strong sense of Iraqi nationalism, emphasizing Iraq's historical significance and seeking to unite the Iraqi people under his rule. He promoted Arab nationalism and pan-Arabism, aiming to assert Iraq's dominance in the region. That can also be seen in his attempt to rename the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Gulf and even invade other Arab countries like Kuwait and Syria. 5. Keeping a close and strong army that was specifically loyal to him. Saddam Hussein maintained a powerful military apparatus, including the Iraqi Republican Guard, which was fiercely loyal to him. He purged disloyal elements and cultivated a cult of personality within the military, ensuring their allegiance to his regime. 6. Being a good persuader and uniters. Saddam Hussein was known for his charisma and ability to rally support among certain segments of Iraqi society. He utilized propaganda and manipulation to maintain control and project an image of strength and unity despite internal divisions. 7. Keeping a close circle of generals and partners he trusted. Saddam Hussein surrounded himself with a small circle of trusted advisors, including influential figures like Tariq Aziz and Ali Hassan al-Majid, Chemical Ali. These individuals held key positions in his regime and played significant roles in implementing his policies and maintaining his grip on power. He also made his own party, the Ba'athist Party, that overthrew the Pervez's prime minister who Saddam worked for previously. This Ba'athist Party played a huge role in keeping Saddam in control for decades. Let's apply the provided points to Vladimir Putin. Hating and villainizing specific people groups. Putin has been accused of fostering anti-Western sentiment and using propaganda to vilify certain groups, particularly political dissidents, human rights activists, and Ukrainian government, accusing them of Nazism. He has also been criticized for his government's crackdown on opposition groups and independent media, having a great sense of ultranationalism and wanting to unite a people group. Putin has promoted Russian nationalism and emphasized Russia's historical greatness and influence on the world stage. He has sought to consolidate power and maintain stability by appealing to Russian patriotism and asserting Russian interests, both domestically and internationally. Keeping a close and strong army that is specifically loyal to him, Putin has worked to modernize and strengthen the Russian military, investing heavily in defense capabilities and increasing military spending. He has also purged disloyal elements within the military and security services, ensuring their allegiance to his regime. Being a good persuader and uniters. Putin is known for his strong leadership style and ability to project strength and authority. He has effectively used propaganda and media control to shape public opinion and maintain popular support for his policies. Additionally, he has capitalized on nationalistic sentiment to foster unity and rally support behind his government. Keeping a close circle of generals and partners he trusted, Putin surrounds himself with a tight circle of trusted advisors and allies, including key figures in the government, security services, and business sector. These individuals hold significant influence and play crucial roles in implementing Putin's policies and maintaining his grip on power. However, what mistakes did Hitler and Saddam both made that led to their downfall, and can we see it happen with Putin? Let's examine the mistakes made by Hitler and Saddam Hussein. Overextension of military power. Both Hitler and Saddam Hussein overextended their military power by engaging in aggressive expansionist policies. Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union and Saddam's invasion of Kuwait resulted in costly and protracted conflicts that strained their resources and alienated international support. Isolation and alienation of allies. Hitler's aggressive actions and expansionist ambitions led to the isolation and alienation of potential allies, ultimately leaving Germany increasingly isolated on the world stage. Similarly, Saddam Hussein's actions, such as his use of chemical weapons and human rights abuses, isolated Iraq from the international community, making it vulnerable to sanctions and military intervention. Underestimation of opponents. Both leaders underestimated the resolve and capabilities of their opponents. Hitler underestimated the military strength of the Soviet Union and the determination of Allied powers, leading to Germany's defeat in World War II. Saddam Hussein underestimated the resolve of the United States-led coalition during the Gulf War, resulting in Iraq's expulsion from Kuwait and subsequent military intervention. Internal dissent and opposition. Hitler and Saddam Hussein faced internal dissent and opposition from within their own countries. Hitler's totalitarian regime suppressed dissent through brutal repression and propaganda, but internal resistance and dissent still existed, contributing to Germany's eventual defeat. Similarly, Saddam Hussein's oppressive regime faced internal opposition, particularly from Kurdish and Shia populations, as well as political dissidents, which weakened his grip on power. As for Putin, while there are parallels in terms of strongman leadership and assertive foreign policies, it's uncertain whether similar mistakes will lead to his downfall. Putin has maintained a strong grip on power in Russia through control of media, suppression of dissent, and consolidation of authority. However, his actions in Ukraine, Syria, and elsewhere have strained Russia's relations with the West and raised concerns about his long-term strategic goals. Whether these actions will ultimately lead to his downfall remains to be seen and will depend on a variety of factors, including internal dynamics within Russia, geopolitical developments, and international responses to Russian actions. Putin, like Hitler and Saddam, also attempted to invade another nation several times and had strong sense of ultranationalism. However, there is nothing we can do but to wait and see what will happen with the only living dictator mentioned on this list, Vladimir Putin.